First of all, I'd like to say, to our beloved Master Abot Shifus, Brother Joe, and all our brothers and sisters, very good evening and Amitabha to everyone. Just give me a minute, yeah. Okay, so I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to facilitate tonight's session of live training, and of course our utmost gratitude to Brother Joe, who despite his very busy schedule would always make time for us to accompany us and guide us in our practice. So in Tzu Chi, we are really very blessed not to just practice together, but more importantly, as I always feel, we actually practice as one, especially ever since the pandemic started. More than ever, I truly felt that each of us, as what Master always say, is like a nut and a bolt in this great Tathagata machinery. And I truly, really are very happy to be able to learn and practice together with all the brothers and sisters. So, or as Master says, I would like to share this slide. Purity is a true principle of true suchness, and bodhisattvas, for the sake of purifying Buddha lands, teach and transform sentient beings to attain purity together. Okay, our first sharer tonight is actually Sister LaySim. In 2013, Sister LaySim had entered the Tzu Chi through the education door, but later she was roped in to help out in 3-in-1. And this actually proved to be a fertile condition for Sister LaySim as she seized the opportunity to join the documentation team in the relief mission to Tacloban, Philippines in 2016. And it was there that she said she discovered her real purpose in life. So let us now invite Sister LaySim to share her personal insights on Master's teaching. She has chosen episode 844, and the initial verses says, knowing the Dharma, yet having no faith in or understanding of it is like being employed to count the wealth of others. One can see the family's wealth filling the house, yet one takes no delight in it for oneself. So please, Sister LaySim, the platform is yours. Kan Ân.
Kan Ân, Sister Stephanie. Good evening, Brother Joe and brothers and sisters. My name is LaySim, and today I'm sharing on episode 844, that is the treasure of the Buddha Dharma. And Riyani will continue on sharing her discovery journey of this treasure as well. Next. Okay, knowing Dharma yet having no faith in or understanding of it is like being employed to count the wealth of others. Actually, I love this summary because I was working in a bank for 2 decades before I opt for early retirement. So the summary is from Sister Stephanie, and I think she did it for me. That's why I obliged to her invitation to share tonight. Next, treasure of the Buddha Dharma. Actually, where is Dharma? Before I joined Tzu Chi, I have no idea where and what Dharma is. I think for me at that time, I think Buddhism is all about going to temples, and pray for blessing. But now that I've joined Tzu Chi, I understand that Dharma actually exists in the masses and our daily lives. Like our Dharma Master Yin Sun said, the Dharma is now at this place with this person. And in Mandarin, it reads, 弘扬佛法不离此时此地此人就在每一个当下. So actually, when seizing the moment, the present moment is already Dharma. And Dharma Master Cheng Yen said that everyone is a sutra from whom we can learn. And there are actually 86,400 Dharma doors for us to explore. So every Dharma door has its own lesson. And if I keep knocking on these doors, I think there are unique lessons that I can pick up from this door, and that will be how, how I can slowly build my treasure of Dharma. Okay, practice. From practice, I learned that, everyone has unique mindset and ways of doing things. And so I have to learn how to accommodate each other, despite having differences, so that I can work with them harmoniously. And I know that when reason is on my side, I still have to be mindful of my speech and be gentle. And if all fails, in the end, if I can't change the other party, I have to change myself because I want to form good affinities. And I have to constantly remind myself that forming good affinities is much, much more important than completing the task. Okay, understand. Master always said, after you grasping one truth, we understand all truths. I actually have difficulty catching the real meaning of this phrase. How can you just understand one truth? You can understand all. I find it very difficult. But as I practice more, I know, like, a simple thing like forming good affinity. I actually have to guard my body, my mind, and my speech. And in that sense, that means I have to let go of my temper, my ego, and my bad habits. And if that practice becomes part of my daily practice, I think slowly I'm going to be a changed person for the better. So in fact, just to become a better person, there is already a lot of Dharma in there. So that's why, that is actually, you're practicing a lot of Dharma just to become a good person. So everything in the world, everything surrounding us expound Dharma to us. It's just that, whether we are mindful of it or not. And through this constant practice, I hope to gain the wisdom that will enable me to penetrate the truth of all things eventually. So I just have to stay focused and be steadfast on the path. Okay, next is faith. Having been exposed to Dharma, I must do my best to learn from it to fully absorb the teachings. And faith is actually seeking and supported by exploration, practice, and experience. And Buddhist practice doesn't ask us to just accept things, but they offer teachings about the nature of reality and the way that we can, in the way that we can verify it for ourselves. And Buddha himself also asked his disciples to only believe what he taught if they prove it to themselves that it is true. So I think, through all this teaching, I must ensure that my faith is deeply rooted, and we have to hold firm to my commitments and diligently do good deeds to benefit others. So faith does not come from praying, but it comes from actions. So I think this is the way to the abundant treasure of the Buddha Dharma. Okay, next. Next, I'm going to share a little on the journey of my Dharma treasure discovery. Next. Okay, in 2016, I have the opportunity to join the 6-day spiritual trip to Philippines. And we have a rice distribution, and we have a visit to a Great Love village there. And also we have a free clinic. And this trip really opens up my horizon of what is action-oriented approach to practicing compassion. And true compassion is not just having sympathy for another's suffering. It is to reach out to relieve the sufferings with concrete actions. Next. Okay, this is Michael. I think everybody knows him. He is hosting the rice distribution event. I really felt that we were there to share the glory of the good work done by the Philippines volunteers. They are really just that fantastic. I'm beyond words seeing this crowd of people, a few thousand people in the hall. They can listen to him attentively. I feel that now Michael is just next to God to them. Next. And their eyes is non-stop from beginning until the end, until the last batch of people leave the hall, So that shows how much the volunteers have respect for all these care recipients. Even though there are just few people, they will still continue, That is how persistent they are. Okay, next. And then outside the hall, you can see all the volunteers are queuing up, all full of joy, queuing up to carry the 20 kg rice, for each of the care recipients. Okay, next. And here, we are so glad to see how they inspire the local volunteers to join in the volunteering work, to take on the heavy but joyful burden. Everybody is in a very cheerful spirit. Okay, next. Next, we went to visit the Great Love village. This is actually the bridge repaired by Tzu Chi after the Typhoon Haiyan. Next. Okay, when we were walking on the bridge, we met this motorcyclist who saw us, and he shouted, he said, "This is Tzu Chi Bridge." He said, "If there's no Tzu Chi, there's no bridge." We were all taken by surprise, by their deep gratitude towards Tzu Chi. Okay, next. Okay, this is in their Great Love Village. You can see a lot of reminder about Master Ching Yen's Jingxi aphorism everywhere. So Dharma is just truly everywhere. In this Great Love Village, purifying people all the time. Next. Okay, when we were at the Great Love Village, you see these villagers they just run forward and proudly lead us to their home. Okay, next. Okay, then you see the locals, they actually express their gratitude to Tzu Chi very openly. See the boys, they put up the t-shirt that reads Tzu Chi, a great love city and peace guardian. And they even, that shows how deep their faith is towards Tzu Chi, And they also make huge thank you card, for the volunteers, when we were there. Okay, next. Next. Okay, this is another great reminders to the villagers. The villagers make this themselves. So when we are always surrounded by all these good words, I think it is very hard for us to have evil thought because this keep reminding us. Okay, next. And the local volunteers, actually, they presented a few sutra performance in Mandarin. They really pick up Mandarin just within the short time. And towards the time when we want to bid goodbye, all these children, they just pluck the wildflowers from the roadside, and then they just run to us into the arms of every Tzu Chi volunteer and present us with the flower. Suddenly you can feel that there's just no gap between us, but just borderless great love. And all of us broke down, because, when we hold the children in our arms, that was really a very, very nice parting gift for us. Okay, next. Next. Okay, this is one of the Great Love house that we visited, very nicely done, the house. They were so happy. Okay, next. Okay, so actually by joining Tzu Chi, I really benefited a lot. I discovered the missing part of my life so long, that is walking the Bodhisattva path, And also it gives me an opportunity as a householder to actualize this compassion, which is the secret, to having a real and lasting inner happiness while developing my wisdom life. So I'm very grateful to Master Ching Yen for helping me to find the purpose of my life, that is to serve others. So this Bodhisattva path is a great awakening for me to encounter the treasure of the Buddha Dharma, and it definitely deepens my faith to carry on, And with that, I thank you, and over to you, Sister Stephanie. 感恩大家.
Sister LaySim, even though we've heard this story before, right, sharing before, but now seeing all the pictures are truly really, really amazing. I really want to cry. Okay, Brother Joe, please, can you please comment on Sister LaySim sharing?
Yes, thank you. So finally, I know who LS is now. LaySim. Okay, Sister LaySim. Because before on Zoom, when we ask people to respond, and I always see LS, or I didn't know it was L, it was I. So I didn't know who it was. Now I know it's Sister LaySim. Okay. So first of all, thank you, Sister LaySim, for your summary of this episode. I think it's wonderful where you mentioned banker. So naturally, I'm thinking you're counting the valuables or the deposit or the money that actually don't belong to you, right? So you're helping people to deposit money into their accounts, or you're helping with their transactions, but that's not yours. So that's very similar to what the story is saying, that even though you're counting all the valuables, but you don't think that's yours. But I think what the Buddha and the Master is telling us is that, but they are, right? Looking at each customer, they are your treasures. Maybe their money isn't yours, but these people are. So when you transition into Tacloban, or the people in the Philippines, immediately I saw when you mentioned Brother Michael, for him, he sees these people as his treasure. So right away, there's a difference. He's rich because he has all these people, and he has all these people that loved him, and he has all these people that believed him, and that is the treasure. So like you said, you mentioned, I think you used the word, it's like, it's like an angel among them, or the saint, or God, or whatnot. But that's essentially telling us and everyone that that's what Master sees too. That when Master says that, no, I'm not just asking for the honorary board member, 荣董, right, to donate the money. It's not the money that's the treasure. It's the person, it's the heart. And that goes into, are you really counting what is valuable? Or are you like the poor son who thought that the only treasure is counted by how much is there in the treasury or the treasure box or the deposit, the bank deposit of the household, which is already very much. But he didn't realize that what he truly had that made him wealthy wasn't all that money. So I think that was one of the key things that I got from your sharing. And then you also mentioned that that I really like was, you mentioned that when we are a changed person, when we change for the better, that's already a proof that that's Dharma. And I like that. I really, it shows, it's evident that because we can change, and therefore it shows that it proves that Dharma exists and that we can be better. So that is very unique mindset, that I would say, unique mindset. So finally, I'd like to mention that that at the very beginning, when I think it was Sister Stephanie talked about purity, right? Talk about purity, and I think that's also to be able to count purity, or to be able to count. But when you say the word purity, actually, the first thing came to my mind was the air around me. You can see that I'm wearing a mask, but imagine to be able to breathe freely. That's our treasure too. So when you mention purity, because we're in office and we're required to wear a mask too. We're indoors. Okay, so anytime that there is more than a few people, we're all required to wear a mask too. And for me, purity, or the cleanness of the air, if you know how to count it, you are wealthy. But if you don't know how to treasure it, you can have a lot of it around you. You can have the whole planet worth of these pure, clean air, and you wouldn't be able to know that you have it around you. So it's not just Dharma, it's actually everything around us, that if you know how to treasure it, then they become blessing, and then that's your wealth. But we just fail to realize that. Okay, thank you. Especially being a banker, that was a very important beginning, the first part. Thank you, Sister LaySim.
And then Brother Joe, I think you made very good points for us to ponder. Really, you mentioned just now, seeing others, the care recipient, as our treasure, and towards the end, purity. Maybe what Brother Joe meant is, to me, is purity is in every moment that we cherish, right? Every moment that we cherish is a moment of purity, right? Thank so much, Brother Joe, for your guidance, always. So next up is Sister Riyani. Sister Riyani, to me, I always think of her like she's the twin sister of Sister LaySim, because they're always together. Actually, they've met each other through their community parent and child bonding class. So they even made a pact to commission together in 2017. And in Sister Riyani's words, she said, 我们互相成就, meaning we accomplish each other. So I think they must have been Dharma sisters in their past life as well. So coincidentally, Sister Riyani has also chosen the same episode to share. All right. So let us now invite Sister Riyani to share her take on episode 844, Treasure of the Buddha Dharma. Sister Riyani.
And Sister Stephanie. Good evening, Brother Joe and fellow brothers and sisters. Very honored to be given the opportunity to share my little thought of Master Wisdom at Dawn together with these two great sisters whom I treat as my mentor. In the beginning of the episode 844, Master mentioned, knowing the Dharma yet having no faith in or understanding of it is like being employed to count the wealth of others. Actually, Master did mention at a jewelry store, there are lots of precious jewelry worth lots of money. But does the jewelry belong to these workers, store owners, or the buyers? The answer may be yes, belong to the buyers, but they cannot possess this thing forever. This analogy reminds me of the old me before I joined Tzu Chi. I used to love owning jewelry, especially diamonds. But after buying them, I dare not keep this thing at my home in case they got stolen. I would rent a safety deposit box at the bank to keep them safe. I also worry about wearing them when I go out because I may get robbed and hurt in the process. So I spent so much money to buy these so-called treasures, yet they only brought me affliction instead of real joy. And do they really belong to me? I am shameful of my ignorant and unwise thought before I encounter the Buddha Dharma and join Tzu Chi. If I had comprehended the Dharma earlier, I would not have spent so much money and trouble on this kind of thing. Instead, I would use the money for good causes that can benefit and bring joy and peace to people in need. Indirectly, I have also damaged Mother Earth by obtaining these precious stones. After joining Tzu Chi and getting involved in many activities, especially the charity mission, it opened my eyes to the fact that I don't need any precious jewels to make my life happy. By walking into the masses and witness suffering with my own eyes, I found my spiritual wealth. I value my life more since I joined Tzu Chi. Not only the many experiences that I gained in CBI refugee project and other activities, I also gained many Dharma family members who held my hand and walked this Bodhisattva path together. Whenever I encounter any problem or obstacle, my precious Dharma family would help and encourage me. I really learned a lot from them. And to me, they are really my precious wealth. They are also one of the reasons I gave up my Indonesian citizenship and become Malaysian citizen. Okay, next. No, not this one. No, next. No. After this, the jewelry. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, okay. I will share a refugee story that touched my heart the most. This is Sidra Riaz. She is a refugee from Pakistan, and we have taken care of her family since 2019. Because the whole family have health issues, we need to constantly give them financial assistance. Recently, Sister LaySim took over this case. She mindfully used her wisdom to seek the root of their illness and suffering. Sister LaySim sought advice from FEMA doctors on how to help them. One of the doctors, Dr. Wong, advised to ask them to observe 21 days healthier me challenge diet. With her wisdom, Sister LaySim opened this field of blessing for all of us to sponsor his family to take up the challenge. Total of 18 sisters, including Dr. Wong and Dr. Eddie, sponsored the meal for this family. Sister Stephanie is also one of them that sponsored. Okay, after 21 days, the result was good. It reduced the rashes in the skin and improved the overall health of both husband and wife. Last Friday, we accompanied this refugee to do a comprehensive screening at Dr. Wong Clinic. She had woken up at 3 a.m. in the morning to prepare wholesome vegan meals for me and Sister LaySim. She prepared a variety of Pakistani dishes for us. We could feel that she prepared them mindfully with full of love. All the dishes that she prepared for us is fit for the banquet. The taste is also really delicious. Can I have a next slide, please? Yeah, yes, as you can see this picture. See, two of my daughter also really enjoy the meals, and they kept telling me, "Mommy, the dishes is so delicious." She even prepared disposable eating utensils so that we could have breakfast or lunch together with her. But it was not possible to eat at the clinic. She even wrote touching notes in the back that contains the food for me and Sister LaySim. Sorry, can I have earlier slide, please? The earlier slide have a picture and a message that she wrote in the back. Sister Lily. Okay, never mind, I just continue. Besides the delicious food that she prepared for us, she also tuned a blouse for Sister LaySim, and actually she also want to make a blouse for me and keep asking my body measurement, but I didn't give it to her because I don't want to trouble her. But she's so persistent. Later maybe I will give my body measurement for her. In fact, actually 3 days before I met her, there was an incident that involved double payment for Sutra family. And we only realized it after 3 days of the disbursement. I asked Sister LaySim to help me ask her about the double payment, which I had also questioned her. From the initial text messages sent to Sister LaySim and me, I interpreted it as she had already used up all the money to pay the rental and has no intention to refund it. Thinking so, I became judgmental and made the conclusion that she is also no different from other refugees who are dishonest, greedy. I even replied her with a text message which my husband deemed was intimate. To my relief and also embarrassment, he promised to return the money when we meet at Dr. Wong's clinic. Apparently, she had borrowed money from friends to return the money back to us. I was so ashamed of my conduct of quickly labeling her as a greedy and ungrateful person and even sending her intimidating messages. I must learn from Sister LaySim to always be calm in handling delicate issues and use more wisdom to handle all the people, matter, and object. I'm very grateful to have Sister LaySim with me from very beginning when I started to involve in this CPI project. I always seek her advice when I encounter problems, be it refugee problems or my personal problems. To me, Sister LaySim is my great mentor, and I am very grateful to know her in this lifetime. I believe we have a special affinity in our previous life, so in this lifetime we can get to know each other, and even we went commissioning together. Okay, sorry. Then another short story that I would like to share is Sister Eng Hun, that dressed in white. She just joined Tzu Chi recently as a new volunteer, but she is one of the rare new volunteers who very diligently wakes up every morning to listen to Master Wisdom at dawn and always share her insights. Besides diligently attending symposium, she also very proactively gets involved in Tzu Chi activities. To date, she has helped as vaccination volunteers, food care packaging, phone assessment interviewer for refugee, and the most recently when we went to clinic to give support for Sutra. From this picture, we can see that Sister Eng Hun display a great respect and is a good listener. Actually, this picture was sent by Sutra, then he wrote thanks to Sister Eng Hun to really listen to her. Okay, after clinic visit, we also went for cash disbursement, sending wheelchair and food voucher for 3 other refugees. Sister Eng Hun also prepared handmade mooncake to give to these refugees. I really need to learn a lot from Sister Eng Hun. She managed to get 10 new donating members in a very short time. And what made me happy is Sister Eng Hun sent me a message that mentioned she was so happy to be involved in our home visit, and she asking to be involved again in upcoming refugee home visit or other Tzu Chi activities. What I get from the experience involving in many Tzu Chi missions, especially refugee project, is really priceless. that no precious stones can replace. These refugee stories really opened my heart, and I'm so happy to see many were inspired and benefited as well. I can feel the ripple effect of kindness and love from one to infinity. Seeing the many transformation of those involved in CDI project is a huge reward, which I least expected. In the process of benefiting others, actually, I'm the one that benefited the most. I promise to diligently comprehend Master Dharma and use it on my daily life, especially in handling people, matters, and okay, that's all my sharing.
感恩 Sister Riyani for the very heartfelt sharing. Indeed, I think Sister Eng Hun also past life Dharma sister. Okay, so I have a gift for Sister Riyani. Come, can I have the next slide? Can I have the next slide before we pass it over to Brother Joe for his commentary? Sister Xiu-Ching, is it possible to go to the next slide?
What happened?
Okay, all right. Okay, while you do that, right, I think maybe I'll just invite Brother Joe to give his commentary first. Canon, Brother Joe, over to you.
Yeah. Okay, we'll wait for the gift to be arriving very soon.
Okay,
Thank
it's a very
you,
precious
Sister
gift.
Riyani. Yeah, so that's why I had to be saved for last. Sister Riyani, I think when you shared about Sister LaySim, I'm sure others, for example, including who you mentioned, Sidra, and also the new volunteer, they also regard you as someone who's also very important in their family, in their Dharma family as well. And I think that's what Master had also helped us to identify and to string us together. Imagine if we just know each other, but we didn't have the common bond that binds us together, then maybe we will be doing something. For example, we will be vacationing, we'll be shopping, we'll be going, eating and finding all the great food together, spending our lives, but not knowing how to make of it. But Master gave us this opportunity, gave us this platform that when we are the best of the best friends from past, that we have this opportunity to also forge that bond in Dharma. And then we're able to forge that bond with even more people. I mean, to see you so emotional about this, or maybe you're an emotional person already, but to be able to just talk about somebody and begin to choke up, that has to be something very strong. That has to be something more than just this lifetime, I'm sure. Okay, you mentioned about the jewelry, and you said that had you known Tzu Chi earlier, that you would have put all this money that you had spent on the jewelry for the good. But I would like to think that those jewelry were already made for good purpose, because think of it as tuition. Think of it as the tuition that got you graduated from this school, that you realize there were so many people. Oh, that's the jury. Okay. So there are so many people that have spent many, many times more than what you already spent and haven't graduated. So think of yourself lucky. Think of yourself fortunate that you have gotten this far with only that much spent. And think of it as the valuables very well spent. And seeing how you are right now and how the people you have changed, whether it's just a new volunteer who is very diligent, but you stay with her, you stay with her, you mentor her, you accompany her along all these activities, as well as Sidra, who through your interaction, make you aware and make you learn and all of that. I think this is valuable, so very well spent. And I would think that if it were me, I would do it over again because it makes sense. It makes the perfect deal, right? Wouldn't you say so? That if you are able to exchange something that you can count, even though it's a great big number, but you're exchanging that for something that's infinity, wouldn't that be a good deal? Absolutely. So that's why you mentioned at the end, right? 1 to infinity. Absolutely. So I think it's a wonderful, wonderful deal that we have here. And then not only that, but we get so many Dharma families that we are etched in our hearts, in our mind, in our memories, and in our wisdom life forever. So I think that's something that we have to be very proud of, and something that we are very fond of, something that we are very we hold very dear. And I think that's something that we should treasure very much. So thank you, Sister Riyani. That's very close to all of us. What you share is also very close to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Joe. And thanks a lot, Stephanie, for your precious gift.
And Brother Joe for the very heartfelt commentary. Indeed, I think what Brother Joe said is truly, we are very thankful to Master always for giving us that common bond, like what Brother Joe said, that bind all of us together into the same direction with the same goal in growing together to find our true nature. And the slide that I was going to give to Sister Riyani is this from episode 837. Tangible wealth used to help others will become everlasting. But I can see Sister Riyani is always diligently engaging in her spiritual practice, and therefore infinite treasures, even though they are unsought, will definitely be attained. 祝福世界. Okay, so I'm going to move on next to our next sharer. Actually, our final sharer is Sister SuiSan. So for us, whenever we hear the expression courage of a lion and endurance of a camel, Sister SuiSan always come to our minds first, okay, because she's just that, all right. Actually, for Sister SuiSan, a massive setback in her career earlier on steered her to the doorstep of Tzu Chi. Actually, the recycling doorstep, to be very exact. But it was her ever willing and never say die attitude that saw her from then on creating so many good affinities in her community, which actually led her team to transform Malaysia's very own Black Pearl, a group of Black Pearl, yeah. And now, in fact, during the pandemic, Sister SuiSan and her team is already making great inroads into another ethnic group, which is the Malays, yeah. And we may see the great emergence of brown pearls, yeah, we call them maybe brown pearls, in a very near future. So it is with great honor to welcome Sister SuiSan to share her insights on Master's teaching in episode 853. The initial verse, the Bodhi path is the cause of the great vehicle. The one great vehicle is the great effect of the Bodhisattva practice. What is realized through the flawless Dharma are the true principles of ultimate reality, and what is seen and observed with pure eyes is the absolute truth of emptiness. And that is our brother Paulo. With pure eyes, the vest represents to him his master, and that he always will give his sincere respect to before he goes out on his mission every day. So over to you, Sister SuiSan now. Karen.
Good evening, Sister Stephanie, Brother Joe. Appreciate the opportunity given to share. Actually, I have also difficulty to choose which chapter is that I can express it better. So because this chapter talk about the Bodhisattva path. So as I'm not very deep in Dharma, because I think I'm not very good in expressing in Dharma, but I only know the what need to be practiced. You know, when I listen, I always think in my heart, always say, okay, this is why I've listened, and what can I do? You know, So this is my early days when I in Tzu Chi, not much guidance from anybody other than only from master, from the wisdom at dawn. Always try to figure out what can I do, what can I do, what can I do, you know. So it's always for me, mere listening to me just as a theory. I find that if theory just settle as theory and didn't do, I find that it's a waste of my time just sitting down here and just listen. But I always like to think, what can I do more, you know? What can I do? But of course, like one person's strength is limited. Sister Susan, you can go to the next slide. Yeah. So, and then I find that this chapter that talking about this Bodhisattva path, and it said that to be enlightened, we need to practice this one vehicle Dharma. Of course, when I listen also, I'm not too, what is this one vehicle Dharma, you know, so not very good in expressing, and only thing is that, what else can I do? And say, hey, if you look through and say, because this path need to be walked on, and then like a road like that is very spacious and straightforward. And he said that this path of someone is not meant to be walked alone. You have to get people to join you as well, you know. So and this path has to be paved with loving kindness, compassion, great joy, equanimity by Bodhisattva. And this one, that's where where my interest lies, is that if I open up a path, who can I get people to kind of join me? Yeah. So I'm a very observant person. I'm very observant, you know. I look around. I like to, you know, sometimes I will just go to a place and I keep observing people action and where is their interest, you know, where is the yin yuan. So sometimes the yuan cannot come up automatically, you know. So but then we keep observing. We always must put the right person at the right place so that they can do their best, you know. So if this person A can have this capability to do this job, then you put it into another one. Maybe need a greater capability, but then it doesn't fit him. But then he will feel very frustrated because he cannot fit in. So we have this. So I will not push a person. For myself, I say because myself is that like I like to implement things. It's my nature. Even in my job also, you know, when I listen, I say, what can I do more? You know, that's sort of an attitude that I always have. So irrespective what type of Tao Chang or whatever a field of merits, what can I do more? You know, because Master always say, listen, and knowing a lot of Dharma but don't go and practice is equivalent to zero. So I feel that since we wake up every morning, lost my sleep, then I just listen, and then listen without carrying out. I feel that I feel very empty. Sometimes I feel very empty. Yeah. So what can I do? But of course, there's so many things that we can do, but we also have limited time. We also have to find the right yin yuan affinity to do it. So also like I say sometimes we have to be very patient to wait for the yin yuan. Sometimes you have to create own yin yuan. I cannot wait here and the yin yuan to come to me, and maybe I have to go there and open up and see and test it out. Is it right or is it wrong? Wrong is it's okay, but then maybe the time is not right. It's also fine. We will find many methods what to do. So this message that because I repeatedly hear from Master from last few chapters that Bodhisattvas arise because of suffering sentient beings. Thus we have to because only when people are suffering, only we can have the opportunity to help. But then whether people willing to accept your help is another issue. Because they may be suffering, but they may not want you to help them. Yeah, some of them may be very egoistic. Some of them say, "No, I don't need your help." So you cannot even get in. So if you have an opening, you just really have to go in and treasure this affinity. So I will know how I will grab it. You know, so every time got to wait, like I say. Go in, go out, and see what is a possible way. So this I would like to cite this example is that this Pelangi Indah is a second flex, aside from the PPR, which it started quite some time ago. And this one's I've been watching this area for many years. Actually, we went there to to take care of Kan En Fu, went in, went out, went in, went out. No, cannot find anybody that can that we can be rooted there, you know. So it's okay, but I'm still watching like every time I go in, come in, go in, go. I say until like because of this pandemic, where the what you call it, the Yuan is created from K1K. Wow, to me, I was full of joy, to be frank. Oh, finally I can get to meet people over there. And then there's also no, the residents there. And then also we have a brother, Vijay. He is our commissioner, the early Indian commissioner, the first SuiSan brother of Indian race to be commissioners. Oh, he knows someone there. And then this person actually is like the ketua, we call it head of the village, of the flat. So he helped us to link the people up to, at least we can apply a K1K. So when we set up tables over there, because our form is not easy to fill. So I said, why not we facilitate them? So we start. And this person has helped us to get the people down. And then that's where the affinity starts. And as for that, I said, oh, I'm so grateful to Brother Vijay because finally he has a touch that he can shine, you know. Previously, you know, he stays in a taman that not that he can't shine, it's just that he always support the rest of Bodhisattvas to do. But in this place, he can help, he shines, you know. So I would say I waited almost near, I think, I'm not too sure, it's how, maybe seven over years after he become commissioner, now that he can shine in a place that we really have to count on him because of his link with this head of these flats, you know. Wow, then after that, the Yuan becomes very fast, you know. So, but then there's only distribution for K1K. But what next, you know? After that, we don't want to. So difficult to get the affinity to arise. Wow, really, that actually for me is, I keep telling the volunteers, oh, finally we found a seat. Wow, we really have I feel joy because I've been watching the place for so long. I really got no opportunity to go in, you know. Now finally this K1K gave us, we must not let go, you know. Even though we know that pandemic, we cannot do any activities, there must be a way that we can do it. So then what we did was that we gave vegetarian meals. I said, okay, this is the best because the place is so, you got 3 blocks, you got 3 blocks of flats, you know, and that's where people can accept us or accept our meals can be 400 to 500 people. Wow, what if 500 better? You can save 39 lives, you know. So initially we went on ad hoc basis to give them, we sponsored vegetarian meals so that we have something to, vegetarian is the easiest because we just deliver the lunch box to them, you know. We knock on the doors and say, oh, no, we have this, because when we open up a path, we don't have to, actually to me, I feel we don't have to do ourselves one because we see which one have a good Yuan, which one has a good affinity with this place, help us to lend weight to each other to propagate Dharma in this place, to open up this path, you know, in this area. So we have this couple, this brother Vijay and his sister, and this sister she is super patient. Actually, she is my benefactor in the early days because she can make me very angry, you know, because she is the slow coach. I'm the fast in action, and I talk 5 words, she only talk 1 word, you know. So wow, I thought she can really make me a boy, you know. But then I say, if I can tolerate this person, means I have improved a lot. So I tolerated her along the way. Actually, she is also the one who led me to PPR. If without her making me so, no, actually I want to hide away from her because she keep on, anybody can fetch me the place. Actually, I was just waiting for others to fetch me there, fetch her there. I purposely avoid her, but then I see after that, inside us, always must say we will have a Buddha nature in us. Everybody's silent. Okay, I volunteer to fetch you there, you know. So that is also because of her that I stepped into that area, and then my affinity starts with them. So the same for this, I saw her strength. Of course, she's a very, I call it very naggy, sometimes it's that it can make me boil, but then she is the one that can tame me like in the way that I have to be very super patient with her. But because of her, that she can link up and she so patiently call up the residents. And then every week, because after that, after we're done with the, we started with the 2-3 month one time of vegetarian meals on special occasion. Then when we went into, because pandemic starts again, so I find that there will be lack of food. So I said, why not we create, we have vegetarian meals twice a week, Monday and Wednesday. So this Tzu Chi, she's so patient, she called up every residents, that are you willing to take on meals? So she actually does it she does it every week, Then she will give me the figure, then I will go to a restaurant to order, and then she will distribute, because I said it's working time for me, because she able to. So we continue every week, non-stop and so So every week for, I think, like I say, I put there like since January, so we just continue now. It's already October. Of course, that because in August when the pandemic got bad, and this place has a lot of COVID patients, so she said that we cut down to once a week. So I said it's okay. I'm okay. As long as you're okay, I'm okay. So then she is so, I said always must put the right person in the right place. And then because she's so patient with these residents, our lunch box, we started from 20 boxes, now it become 1 week can be 80 boxes, and it covers Malay, Chinese, Indians. So the Malays also has no qualms of taking the vegetarian food. When she called them, they said okay to take on. So I'm pretty happy with the development, even though we cannot have physical meeting with them, but because of these free meals, vegetarian meals, that we get closer to them. And she is also the contact person for us to, when any family in difficulty, just have to call her. Then we will try to help them. So at least there is a connecting point already. So actually they're very grateful to be there. So then you can see that we are encouraging them when you take a box, the vegetarian meals, you just put some money in, also 种福田. So she also teaching them 金丝 aphorisms. So we have actually Malay Indians there being a volunteer. So but then the most unusual thing that happened in this project is that, because I went to one store, because I like to always support new vegetarian stores. I said, oh, this is good now that I can, because in pandemic, I always hope that their business can continue. So that let it continue, at least they have business. So I said, I don't mind support. So you never know that suddenly there's one Da Pusa appear, just give me a call and say, what are you doing? I said, who are you? And I said, who are you? So he said that, okay, I said, I'm from Tzu Chi. And he said, are you supplying food to certain area, vegetarian? I said, yeah, in this area. And I'm asking this vegetarian store person to cook for us. He said, can I chip in? I said, yes, certainly so, And I do not know him. And I haven't even seen his face. I only know that he's TCM. That's all. And then some communication, I hardly know this person. Just like you say, benefactor can come from anywhere, it can come from out nowhere. And I felt that that he wanted to support this vegetarian store. I think probably they know each other very well. So actually the person starts since June and he never stops until now. Actually, he said that the pharmacy actually has gone back to, he's from Taiwan, I said, wow, I didn't even know he's from Taiwan. But from the I didn't know, but until that day, I want to give him a mooncake because of his support. Oh, you see, he has already gone back to Taiwan already. But his disciple, his student actually still carry on. I'm very grateful that he is willing to support this project, and now actually has even gone to Rita orphanage home. So you can see that 因缘不可思议的. And so when we don't have expectation. As long we have a path open up, there will naturally people want to join. We do not know come from where. So That's why I always love that, to open up new place, so that we do not know whose in-yuan is correct, then it will come along. So that's why the path is really very wonderful. Don't be afraid. I always feel don't be afraid to opening up, sing food, sing new field of merits, so that more people can participate. So I feel if there's a police satwa can only police satwa can arise. So the next page. So then he said this flawless Dharma. I feel that like of course that Dharma we have to take it to heart of course, to say that don't live, I find it difficult because I'm still, for me, I feel that I'm still practicing, and that actually because of Dharma also I learn a lot about myself and what I can do and what I can't do. Actually, some also because of Dharma also that I learn how to let go how to let go, and actually and also Dharma also taught me about how, like I say, actually the precepts, I say precepts are my wisdom. Precept is so important. Actually, I can be very hot temper. I can be I can be a very fast action person. But come to precepts, I truly observe, and I don't let. I'm very strict in myself on precepts, especially when it comes to things that can be done or cannot be done. So, and I feel that this pandemic this precept that I've observed has saved me so many things from a lot of dangers, and also that because of this precept that actually I have escaped a lot of traps. So also that I feel precepts is difficult, but it's meant to protect us. And also like this flawless Dharma is actually also methods, also from master sharing of Dharma. Actually, I learned a lot. Different method of handling people, especially be it work, be it doing Tzu Chi or doing a lot people, methods and objects. So, and especially in during pandemic, I find that the Dharma actually helped me. I have so much good affinity that in the place that I only work from home and then go to office, I can't travel, people will just give me a helping hand in so many things that I cannot say. So that's why I say every second I'm so grateful, that being at home, that I can still link with so many people, and I just with just a phone call, people just answer my call, and done a lot. So I always agree with Master that fun meow meow. Every second I'm very grateful, that what there is for me to complain? Truly nothing. Even though I do meet obstacles, but I think every obstacle is just a SuiSan lah. Okay, this is my yen with her not so good, but now it's okay. I move on, and then I will come back again later on. I also like learn how to 祝福 other people. So all this Dharma actually, maybe I'm not very good in writing a lot of things, but then I feel that if it's in my heart that I can that helped me to work more firmly on this path, and it's truly a protection. Truly, actually, like I say, anything that I do in Tzu Chi, sure got people complain. Okay, 100% will sure have one, but then now I take it okay gladly law. Anyway, it's Dharma. I say, well, maybe I should correct myself. So like even doing the recent food care, the new one will tell me off. So I say, okay, he's fine. I just follow according what you want to do. So I say in other days, other time I will just smack him already lah. So sorry. So just okay, I just go along. You can't ask me do A, I do A. You ask do B, I just do B. Okay, whatever you want me to do. So I feel that maybe I also learned how to accommodate to others. Like I said, these are all methods that's being taught in master sharing and this has helped me to continue to walk on this path joyfully lah. Yeah, that is my sharing. There's one more, the last ending, which is best summarized by the next page. Best summarized by Sister Stephanie, which I like it a lot. Is that next page? Is it? The little, I'm so sorry. Yeah, can you have the next page? You have the next page? Oh, I just skipped this story. Okay, this one is that if we can destroy a bit of ignorance, we will grow a bit in our wisdom life. This is truly very true. I feel that bit by bit, as I remove this affliction and ignorance, I feel that in handling matters, I'm definitely calmer and also using a best method to overcome it. Yeah, got enough. Over to you, Sister Stephanie. Yeah.
Okay, thanks to Sister SuiSan for the very, very wonderful sharing, and always fast-paced. I think we can't expect anything else from you other than something that's really fast-paced. You're a person of action. You're a person of doing, not a person of talking. And probably not so much listening. And that is why there's the other sister you talked about, that's the yin to your yang, the yin yang going together. And I think the story that you gave, the Penlangi Inda, right? Okay. You say you've been watching this place, you've been observing this place for a long time. And that really gave me thinking that, your background, I think you mentioned before, it was financial investment or something like entrepreneur or something of that background.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it's almost like you have been watching a particular stock for a long time, ever since its beginning, its inception, and you're a venture capitalist and you help it through a very long time, and then you observe its CP value, its performance and all of that, and then one day that with this product it's going to take off, and it did. And I think that's the kind of joy that maybe other people might not understand, but if you change that into the story where you hit the jackpot, okay, I think you're even happier than if you were to hit the jackpot, when you realize that this particular area that you have been wanting to go into so much, and then finally, because of the pandemic, you're able to get in and you're able to do something for them. And the amazing part is you have the perfect help in the other sister who is just completely like the polar opposite of you, and someone who you couldn't stand at first, but I think it was almost wonderful. I think the perfect thing that you mentioned about, you always ask yourself, what else can I do, right? What more can I do? And I think the other person will be asking, what more can I do for you? Because they're listening. You're asking yourself, what more can I do? And they're asking, what more can I do for you? Because they're listening. And I think the two people will be able to work together, like as you mentioned, patiently calling everybody, patiently going through everybody. And maybe that's not something that we ourselves can do, but someone with that kind of background or that kind of the temperament would be able to do. And that's where the perfect matching happens. If you have two of the same type of attitude as you, then maybe it wouldn't be possible. If you have two of the same type of the people as her, maybe it wouldn't be possible. It has to be both of you. So that's where you mentioned about yin, about the affinity. In order for something like this to happen, you would have to have all the elements balanced together. And that is what I thought. It makes the perfect go around to the very beginning, to episode 844, where we mentioned what is valuable, what is our treasure. The treasure isn't finding more people like myself, but rather finding people that work well or able to fit well. Because you mentioned that at first it wasn't like that either. It didn't fit well, even though you should fit well, but it doesn't. But eventually, because of Dharma, that it fits like perfect, the perfect pieces to this puzzle. And so that's what Dharma allows us to do. That when you see each other, you might not recognize each other as the right pick with the right CP value. But now you are. Amazingly, no one probably would imagine that. And that's where Master and Buddha found the value and found the treasure in all of us, that we have this potential to be the perfect fit if we try at it, and we can. And that's what Buddha sees in all of us, that we can be that perfect piece to the puzzle that this world needs, to the perfect piece to the puzzle that fits into the solution of this world. So that's why we are, and every one of us are so valuable, and that's who we have to become. And so that's something that I got out of today's sharing. So thank you, Sister SuiSan, for your very enthusiastic sharing, as always, fast-paced. And then going back to Sister Riyani and also Sister LaySim, thank you all. Thank you all for all of the sharing. All three of you have different cases, different ups and downs, but I think that's who we are, and that marks us as who we are. Because of this, we are even more powerful and strength, with more strength, and also the perseverance and also the courage. So sometimes we might be a little bit weak. That's when we need Sister SuiSan on the front. You know, she's powerful to be able to charge on, right? And sometimes we need that resilience and that tenderness, that softness. And then we will have Sister Riyani, who will be there with her emotional sharings. And then Sister LaySim will be right there and say, hey there, sister, you know, we're on this together. So that's what makes the perfect team. And that's what bonded us as the Dharma family. So thank you all for tonight. We have this, the Dharma sharing and Dharma growth together as family. Thank you.
Cảm ơn Brother Joe for the wonderful encouragement for all of us. Indeed, sorry, my line was very bad. I keep falling off. And the final slide that I wanted to show, actually, unfortunately, we can't see it. But there's this line from Master, and it says, the Bodhisattva practice of benefiting others is ultimately the treatment for all unwholesomeness. So that's why I feel that all of us are very blessed to be on this path of benefiting others, and all of us are benefiting one another because every one of us have some degrees of unwholesomeness. Cảm ơn so much, everybody. Good night. Cảm ơn Brother Joe. Cảm ơn sisters for the wonderful sharing. Cảm ơn. Over to you, Sister Lily. Oh, Sister Xiaoqing, okay.
A wonderful session, truly. So sorry, actually my line also keep dropping. That's why I could not share the slides properly. Truly very grateful to definitely Brother Joe for, despite great busy schedule, still guiding us, and very good. We treasure each moment under Brother Joe's guidance, and great sisters sharing. I trust everyone enjoy as much as we do. The very heartfelt and very down to earth sharing. Indeed, this is what they're getting every morning during post-sharing Shinpa. This morning, in fact, we heard from Sister SuiSan how after 5 years, as she mentioned, transform some very poor, underprivileged students by giving them tuitions, 5 years. So all her journeys is not like overnight, it's all take years. And we often heard from her how not only she transformed the poor, but also the very wealthy. So in fact, she's like a bit like venerable, I think, Kasyapa towards the poor, and is this Putti towards the rich. Sister our great sister SuiSan, and definitely Sister Riyani is our leader for the refugees home visits, and Sister LaySim, she's everywhere, exemplary role model. And Sister Stephanie, with her great selfless serving in educational and everywhere also we can see Sisters Stephanie's footprints. And we are very grateful to be benefited by all these great sisters and sisters. Very grateful to Brother Joe for great sharing. Yeah, indeed, we are very grateful to Master's teachings, because making each of our life more precious and more valuable. Such is truly the great treasure, and we value it daily. We welcome people, everyone, to join us in the morning Chin Fa Siang. If anyone feel down or weak, time to replenish after Master sermons, we can continue on with the post-sharing Chin Fa Siang, hearing all these sisters on board. They join us daily. Even Sister Eng Hun, the newcomer, she also every day diligently joining us Chin Fa Siang, and she will share very good insights. That one is hosted, the session is hosted by Brother Robert. So tomorrow we will hear more from them, the team, Brother Robert and Brother Chin. Okay, Ka'an. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for your presence. Hope that each of us could sustain this Dharma joy and take in another piece of Dharma Master and fall in love to our life. Let us invite Brother Joe to lead us in paying homage. Let us make 3 vows to the Buddha and Dharma Master as we depart to apply all these teachings in our daily life. Let us pay our respects to our teachers of life, universal truth. Palms together. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Okay, Ka'an. I'm not sure whether sisters want to take one group photo.
Hey,